This year's three-gun nationals takes us to stunning Rotorua, and due to the fact that the Rotorua Pistol Club is the largest shooting complex in the Southern Hemisphere, we couldn't think of anywhere better. The range itself is situated in amongst the most serene surroundings you are ever likely to find anywhere in the world. Surrounded by native New Zealand old-growth forest, plantation pine trees and rolling farmland, the range is something quite spectacular. And finding it was an adventure in itself. I think we might be getting there. This is a fair way out, one could say. Oh, I can see something up ahead. What is that? Be aware, red flag flying, live fire in progress. I think this is it. We've made it. Let the fun begin. Touted as the best shooting facility in the Southern Hemisphere, with ranges specifically designed for action shooting events that allow up to 270 degrees of safety, which is really important when you are running the three-gun nationals, we will be seeing some outstanding shooting in this year's Three Guns. Chris Robertson is back to defend his title, having won the gold medal for the last 5 years running. Will he win it again? But competitors from all over New Zealand and from around the world are snapping at his heels, so anything could happen. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes too, so we'll be checking in with those tireless volunteers who make it all happen. And if you're new to shooting, you're going to learn a lot about this fast-paced, exciting action event. Some of the ranges you'll be seeing this weekend are set amongst the native forest and trees, while others are cut out of solid clay into volcanic ash. And you're also going to be meeting some real characters. Boy, did we meet plenty of those. Professional sportsmen, friendly competition, stunning Rotorua. We've got it all here at this year's Three Gun Nationals. But first things first, we caught up with Steve Welsh, who was kind enough to talk us through the ranges.
Usually number our stages 1 through to however many, but more often than not, like a big complex like this, there's physically 33 ranges in this complex.
Wowzers.
I'm only using for this match about 15 or 16 of them. So that's why you get this weird numbering. So we've got stage 1, range 1, that's nice and easy. Now we're going to go around to stage 2, range 14, and so on and so forth.
So you get to choose which range we go to? You plan this in advance?
It's all planned in advance, yes. I've liaised with Don, the president here. For me, Don and I have known each other a lot of years, so I do know the outlay of this place. I can sit back at home in my computer and I can actually work out a match for this facility. Then we come down and we basically put the drawings together and build it.
Pays to know you then.
Oh yeah.
It's day one, and today it is all about the rifle. It's a foggy old start here at the Rotorua Pistol Club, but still an incredibly beautiful morning. Competitors are arriving from far and wide, completing their registrations and checking their all-important guns. But first up for everyone, it's about the match briefing and, of course, safety.
All those green scrim walls you see around the ranges that are vision barriers on green walls that are orange.
So it's day one here in Rotorua for the National Three-Gun Championships. Alex is giving the safety briefing right back there now for the competitors. It's the rifle today, so we're going to get underway very soon. But heading back to yesterday, we decided to harass long-suffering Steve again to explain a bit about rifles. We're here with Steve Welsh, the president of the Auckland Pistol Club. Now, I've chosen you, Steve, because you're a man who seriously knows his guns. Now, we're looking at the rifle. Tell us about the two different types, the optic and the non-optic, and what that means.
Well, basically I'll start with the standard gun. Okay. And they come in many different configurations. Popular caliber is 5.56 or 223. And as you can see, they don't have a scope or up the sight, they're just pretty much iron sights. They will have muzzle brake or compensators on the end, which will help to keep the recoil down, tame recoil. They come in various lengths, and you'll see all sorts of weird configurations, but pretty much it's an iron-sighted gun. So basically you're shooting no magnification, no optic, no nothing. It's just purely you against your eyes and those sights on target.
Pure skill. And so what range can we be expecting people to shoot in the rifles at this Nationals?
At this Nationals, the furthest distance will be 200 metres. The challenge is in the moving and the figuring how you're going to solve the course of fire, per se. And we have different targets that we can shoot. So we use the mini targets to depict distance, so it makes it more of a challenge. So we can go into a smaller range and it's still very, very hard because the target's a lot smaller.
So how big is the target at 200 metres? So what are we actually looking at hitting there? How hard is that?
Very hard. At 200 metres here, the targets are an 8-inch disc.
Whoa.
Okay? They're an 8-inch metal plate, reactive. So what happens when you shoot these ones, the target falls over and a little orange flag pops up that tells you hit the target. So there's only 6 shots in this particular stage. But how we shoot it and where we shoot it from adds to the challenge.
So of course at 200 metres, the optic rifle may be a lot easier for a lot of our competitors. What is the difference in the sight for the optic?
There's a range of different optics that you can get. This one here is just primarily an unmagnified, what we call a red dot. In other words, basically there's no magnification. I still have to use my eyes to see the distance. So I've got to be able to see the targets along my way. Basically what I'm doing is looking at the target, and when that little red dot appears on the target and I breathe correctly and I do the right things, it should go bonk and hit the target. If all goes according to plan. You do have to periodically check your zero.
Well, let's show the people at home exactly how a pro holds a rifle.
Well, basically, it depends on the stage, of course, of fire, but I mean, there's different ways you can hold the forend. You get some people do this and hold it like this, and you'll find more often they do this when they're doing a very up close, challenging course of fire where they're shooting quite fast from target to target to target. So basically, you can actually steer the gun and keep good control over it. I prefer an old school method from my old small bore days, and I just prefer the standard hold like this.
Now you have to obviously worry about safety a lot here. What's this little flag telling us?
Okay, what these are, and these are mandatory around all our ranges in New Zealand, that if your gun is not in a bag like those, and it's out in the open, in your trolley or you're carrying it around on a range like this, it has to be flagged. What a chamber flag is it says that this is obviously the barrel. So the chamber flag is in the barrel. Right, if one of those is in the barrel, then it tells me there's definitely no bullets around in the barrel. And that's and it's straight visual, because you look straight down, you see it. It is a mandatory safety rule in this particular sport. So 3 gunning, you've got to have one of these in all your guns.
Alex, we've just seen you checking some guns for divisional requirements. What does that mean?
Basically, there are such a number of variants of guns. In order to keep a fair playing field for the competitors, there are specific guidelines for the divisions that are shot, and the guns have to comply with size, length, magazine capacity, that sort of thing. So what we're doing is checking the competitor equipment to make sure that they comply with those divisional requirements.
And you've had some pistols this morning that haven't actually made those requirements. What have you seen competitors doing to make sure they fit?
Well, some people have got magazines that are way too big and unfortunately they can't use them, and we have had other people that have been filing the bottom of their base pads to get them to fit into the box.
And that's obviously a fine thing to do?
Yep, as long as it fits in the box, that's the main thing. So yeah, you can do those adjustments on.
But then we decided we hadn't had quite enough of Steve Welsh, so we had him walk us round the ranges. So here we are now at stage 2, and it's range 13. Steve, talk us through what the competitors are going to be doing.
Okay, once they get to the range, what will happen is they will gather around the range officer or the squad leader, I'll actually give the squad a briefing of how this stage will be run. And then you give them a 3-minute look, and all the competitors will come up, they'll actually look around the stage, put a plan in their head how they're going to achieve it, and then they'll all get back, and then we'll have a listing of how many what the shooting order is, and then we'll start the shooting off. So shooting and scoring and patching, and then the next shooter comes and they do it all again until the squad's finished. For this particular stage, the start position will be with your heels at this mark. There will be a table there at which your loaded rifle will be on, and the range officer will be behind you, and what they'll do is they'll make your load and mate ready, and then they'll make you stand at the mark, and then they'll call it, are you ready, stand by, and the time will go, and then you will proceed to go as quickly and accurate as you can around this course of fire safely. All right?
Right, so the gun's here, we're going to grab it. Where are we going?
And, well, there's lots of options, but I mean, your primary option, you probably come into here and you would engage that paper target under that bag there. Then you've got to come up to the end of the fault line here, which are these red boundaries, and the shooter must remain within these red boundaries. And then very safely, they need to retreat and go to the other side of the stage to complete the front portion of it. So basically your rifle must be pointing that way. If you turned and pointed your rifle that way, that wouldn't be very good, and it wouldn't be good for you because you'd be disqualified instantly.
Well, fair enough.
You are going to continue and repeat the same shooting on this side for these targets, and the same rule applies. Basically you must come back this way, muzzle always pointing in a safe direction, looking where you're going with the muzzle pointing into your shoulder, and then what you'll do is you'll come to the final 4 papers. The shooter will make their own mind up which they're going to run, and that's pretty much the stage.
So it's a lot of fast running and accuracy. The clock is ticking.
And safety.
Are you ready? Stand by.
They had a win. No, it was a reasonable run for a first day of the match.
2 Alpha. 2 Alpha. Perfect run.
Hamish, that looked pretty good from my angle. How did it go?
It was reasonably accurate. I was just a little bit slower than I should. First stage of the day, it was pretty good. Yeah, I'm distinctly out of practice as opposed to some of the other guys who getting the trigger time in, but yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. Yeah.
How many Alpha targets did you hit?
All of them.
Good lad, you may be the one to beat them.
No, there's another very competitive guys here today. Yeah, like Philip over there is pretty good. But yeah, it's a steady run, so I'm reasonably happy with it. Yeah.
He shot all alphas, so that's a perfect run.
So having a look at the ranges today, which one do you think is going to be your strongest?
Hopefully it'll be the 200 metre range, though that may not turn out to be right. It's a rather unconventional shooting position, so it might throw me a little bit, but with any luck that'll be the one where I make up some points, and yeah, hopefully that'll be good.
Well done, Hamish, you're off to a good start.
Yes, thank you very much.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Range is safe.
He did all right.
Range is clear.
Could improve, always improve.
So Wendy, you have a very important position here. You're taking down all the scores. Are there any surprises so far?
Not so far, it's sort of early days at this stage and everyone's sort of shooting as expected. So yeah, later on will be a different story.
Do you accept bribery?
Never. Well, not on camera, no.
I wouldn't want to admit to that. Now I've noticed that in between everyone sort of pitches in and hits the course. What are they actually doing out there?
In between each shooter, we have to score the targets after they've shot, and then we will, because we reuse the targets, we patch them out ready for the next shoot so the targets are clean. We also go through and pick up the shooter's brass, because a lot of people will reuse the brass to reload their ammunition with it and just clear the course.
So it certainly is a real team event out there in terms of everyone pitching in.
Yes, everyone is expected to pitch in, lend a hand, and it just makes the range run smoother and gets through the shooters faster because it's quite a long day.
And a lot of laughter in the background too.
That's part of the match actually. It's always good fun and a bit of ribbing of shooters, and yeah, people make mistakes and you just got to take it.
So Alex, we notice you're running around pretty close with a yellow device. What is this?
This is basically a shot timer. The shot timer gives the start signal for the stage, and it measures the time from the initial start signal to the last shot that's fired. Basically, the amount of points that are gained through the stage divided by the time taken to get those shots gives you the score, and that score is what's known as a hit factor. And the person who has the highest hit factor wins the stage. So determining on whether it's a long field course or a short course of fire, each shooter has to determine whether to sacrifice accuracy for speed, because on some stages you'll shoot faster, sacrifice points, but a lower time will give you a higher score, whereas a stage with a longer time you need to focus more on accuracy in order to get a higher score.
Now, speaking of accuracy, we've seen a few people have hit the actual prop.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
It happens. Like when you're shooting rifles with scopes, it's quite easy to get your angles wrong. So, unfortunately, the people who shoot through the side of the wall get misses on the targets.
Well, that's only one of our 6 rifle ranges we'll be testing today. So let's check back in with Steve from yesterday to learn about range 14.
Okay, welcome to range 14, stage 3.
Let's do it. This is looking fun.
This is going to be a fun stage. I'm actually looking forward to this one myself. What we have on these stages, we have these big red lines, right? Well, we call those fault lines. So basically, they keep the competitor within the boundaries of where we want them to go. So you can actually steer a competitor around a course of fire and keep them safe by actually putting specific boundaries in for them. So this particular one here, this is the rifle obviously, stage 3. So the start position will be heels at this mark, and based on the start signal you have to engage all the targets you see in any order from what we say within or behind the demarcated line. So you'll see we've got a series of windows, all right? Even this little low one here. What the competitor will do is they'll make up their mind when the beeper goes as to what they're going to do. They'll have a plan in their head before it even starts, after the walkthrough. So what I'll do is I'll run up to this port. We call them ports, windows, for some odd reason. And when you get to the port, and you've got to, once again, safety's paramount here, because this range and the way this wall's built is not necessarily what we call the 90 line for the range. So if I was coming up here with my muzzle of my rifle pointing along the wall this way, I would be fine. But if I turned around and went back down that way with it that way, I'm going home. So of course once I get to this window here, you'll see all the targets all staggered in here, and right through here, and up through the trees and around the corner here. Each window you go to has a different array of targets, but some you can see repeats of. So you'll get to here, you might see a reap, and this one definitely has. You'll see similar targets through here, but there's little sucker ones that'll actually say, well, I can't quite see that from there, I can see it better from there. So that you'll make an option, a choice. And then from this point, once again, you're going to have to come galloping down here. Some of our younger, fitter characters would probably quite happily bounce down onto their hips and fire through that wall there. I'm not quite that agile anymore, so I'll probably go right to the end and come flying back and land on my shoulder for the last 3 targets in here, because they are prone. In other words, prone lie down. On your side, on your back, however you choose to do it, has got to be engaged through that wall. And you'll see in there, I mean, all the targets we place are for strategies. So I mean, it's all about winning this thing, isn't it? You know, so when you're going to make it harder, and I try and make it hard for our younger competitors too by doing this. And then you race down to the end of the window here, of course you've got the last array of targets, so, and once again, muzzle safe, and as you come through the port here, you'll see a paper target, and then right down the very back, very tight, there's going to be 2 targets on that wooden stand. This range to the back there, it's about 35 metres of shooting.
No room for error there.
No room for error at all, yes, no room for error. And of course, with this game too, you're only looking at the sights and squeezing the shot off. You haven't got time to think, did I hit that, did I not? You've got to back yourself and your own ability and say, yes, I was happy with those shots, I'm leaving it and go. So if you get a miss, well, you get a miss. You're never going to see it anyway. This stage here for the rifle is 16, it's 32 rounds, minimum shots required. We actually call this a field course. What
if you don't fire off 32 rounds?
The range officer will be hard looking to see what you've actually not engaged, because it means that you haven't engaged a target physically.
And then there's a penalty?
Oh yes.
You wouldn't want to give away those points, would you?
No. But yes, it is quite penalising.
Okay, well this looks like it's getting more and more exciting as we go.
Really?
Stand by.
Seven, 4, 1, 4.
7, 4, 1, 4. Rosie, do you want to sign your score sheet? The adrenaline, it's unreal. Good start.
Awesome. Did you have fun?
Off the mark.
Did I have fun?
Yeah. Hell yes.
Smile on his face.
I'll sign that one.
Rosie, you've got a very important role here today and you look very busy behind the competitors. What is your official capacity?
I'm a range officer, so I run around behind the shooters, making sure that everything's safe, they're shooting safely, and everything's going okay.
Now I heard a lot of 2 Alpha being called out just then in the scoring. I guess what does that mean? I guess that's great.
2 Alphas, 2 A's. 2 A's. A's are what you want. A's are the best. Yeah. You don't want Michaels. That's a miss.
So that's some big scoring then for our last competitor.
Yes. Yeah, he did really well. He's good.
But next up is your husband, so any favouritism?
No, completely unbiased. But he is a pretty good champ.
Right, we'll make sure we'll check him out now and we'll see how he goes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Feel it!
Good. You did well. Nice and safe. Good. Here's your time.
Oh, Charlie! Charlie! Charlie!
All scored. Everybody out. That means you.
You got it.
You
got it. I just got to be the last one out of here. So now it's just a short walk over to range 16. Now looking at the courses today, which do you think's the toughest of these ranges?
Which would be the toughest? That's a hard one. I haven't had a close look at all of them. I'd have to say the next one. It's always the next one. Yeah, this one here, because they're not as easy as they look, you know, and they're obstructed by the bush a little bit. So I could lose focus, and I could hit a bit of a twig, and I could lose a bullet somewhere. But I'll just go out there and try and shoot reasonably fast and get all alphas, because there's not much point going fast if you miss the target. Got to hit them.
Stage 4, range 16. Steve, let's take a look.
Let's go and have a look at the start position. In this particular stage here, the competitors are going to start with their kneeling on one knee at mark. So basically what you're doing is this one here, they're at the mark, so the start position will be kneeling on one knee at the mark. This particular one, they'll be having a pack on their back, so their rifle will be like this at port arms, or as close to port arms as they can, which is here, loaded, safety on. So on the start signal, the competitor will get up. They can go either side of this wall. As they come around the wall, you'll see the plastic bags and the target. So pretty much they will just start engaging these targets as they come at the course of fire. But within this demarcated line, you'll see the targets will pop up and disappear around all these array of props and walls and such. So the competitor has to come up. So we'll wander over to this corner here, because this will let you see how far they have to come on the course. Up to this fault line here, you'll notice there's a paper target around the corner of this wall there. So they will actually have to get right into here to try and engage that one. Then you'll see one's parked there, and as we progress down the wall, you'll see one right through the trees in the bank there. And as we progress down further, you'll notice all these ones come into view. And the reason we put these walls in this, these are called vision barriers. In other words, under rule, those technically are solid, save us building a whole lot of solid walls, they basically are deemed to go to the ground and to the sky. So you can't, oh, I can stand underneath it, I can shoot. No, you can't. You cannot engage anything underneath it. You've got to pretend that that goes all the way to the ground. Okay? So as you're coming up, and then you're basically going to try and find these targets as they appear within these lines. And you'll see they actually sneak up on you, and they sneak around the corner on you. But anyway, all the courses of fire look like this. And the shooter will come up, they will come up and make up their own mind how they're going to address this. And this is pretty much a course of fire where they will pretty much be walking and shooting.
So you're basically, even like with these targets here, shooting through trees?
Yes, we use it, this facility is really good for natural fauna and flora, so it's really good to start hiding things behind the trees and the bush, because you won't shoot through it. So now you've got to figure out, how can I see that at another place? So in your walkthrough, you've got to try and plan all this in your head, and then hopefully it all switches off when the timer goes, you scoot through here and shoot it all.
Well, you don't want to forget any either, do you?
No, you forget any. It's very embarrassing when you forget where they are. But yeah, so that's basically the course of fire. It's not many targets in this one, it's only about a 18 round course of fire, covering a lot of ground, but we do try and mix and match them round counts.
A fast and furious range. Jamie Hilton is getting ready there, but all the competitors are planning their attack to ensure the best of times. But we're also going to be spoiling you a little bit here with some bird's eye view courtesy of Brett, so you can really feel as if you're part of the action.
Yep. Okay.
Shooter ready! Stand by!
And it's now everyone over to range 20 for the shooters. A very busy range, this one, set against the lovely forest here at the Rotorua Pistol Club. This is going to need a lot of precision and speed, but it also has a very novel beginning. Range 20, stage 5 for the rifle. Steve, this is looking impressive. Should we go take a look?
Come into my campground.
I hope you're not going to be sleeping here tonight, though.
Oh, no. Too many possums here, I'm afraid. Stage 5, range 20. We try to mix and mingle our starts just so we have something a little bit different. And rather than just stand there and the beeper goes and we run and shoot. So on this particular one, the competitor is going to be on a mat. I've got a proper shooting mat. Their rifle is going to be loaded on here. And then the range officers will stand back and say, everybody stand by, beep, and the competitor will take off. So they will have to come all the way to this fault line here. Primarily because once they get and see that shoot, that one there, there's one in there, and if you come up to the end here, you'll see there's 2 long papers there. They must be shot from here. And then from this particular point, once they've engaged this lot, they will proceed down the course of fire to the far end, shooting what they can see on the way. And as you come through, you'll see targets appear at the stage. There's options. They can shoot these anywhere they see them. When they come into view, they can shoot them. What we try and do is mix and mingle them so they can't be seen everywhere. So it just gives you more things to shoot on the way. At this stage, they're staying in this particular fault line, not nothing to do with that one. And as they come down there, they'll need to come all the way to that fault line there, corner.
Put them everywhere, Steve.
They're everywhere. They're planted like weeds.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
And certainly interesting it has been, with some great shooting early on today with the rifle. The fog hasn't affected much. And we see men and women competing on an even playing field at the 3-Gun Nationals.
Tired. Not very fit.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh, I love it. Love it.
How do you think you did?
Pardon?
How do you think you did?
Oh, pretty good. Slow. Old lady. But always fun.
Straight from one character to another, we start with Rob King flat on his back. Rob, you're huffing and puffing. You're obviously a competitive man. How did that go?
Oh, it's just great fun. You know, playing with guns, big man's toys. It's like cowboys and Indians, but with real stuff. It's just great fun, great bunch of people. I've been doing this now for about 8 years, and the thrill just never wears off. It just keeps getting bigger and better and better. And of course I pile so much money into it, so I've got to be competitive. But no, I really like it. So I'm 59 this year. So age is pretty much no barrier. Physique's really no barrier. It's open to everyone. It's just so much fun. Give it a go. You'll love it.
Thanks, Rob.
Awesome.
So even though we are well underway, obviously the fog is still hanging around in the forest, which means all ranges are go except for range 1. When you are shooting targets set at 200 metres, you probably want a clear view. So we're waiting for that range until the fog lifts. It's just a short skip and jump now over to range 24. Quite a shift from the last range. It's short and sweet and straight to the point. Stage 6, range 24. Steve, I think you've got me climbing on this one.
Come and look at my mountain of pallets.
Better be well made, Steve. I'm trusting you.
Oh, lots of screws and bolts. It's well made.
Oh, this is sturdy.
Okay, start position for this stage is the competitor is going to be on both knees. Their rifle is going to be placed on here, unloaded. The magazines they require for the stage on this platform. The competitor chooses where they can put their gear, and then on the start signal they've got to load their rifle, and then they must get to this window here safely and engage all these paper targets. And there isn't many, but as you'll notice when you hop in there, it's quite tight. It's quite intense in your movement. So from that to that far on this side is quite a lot of rolling and twisting and turning. Some of the older competitors are going to moan like hell at it because it's, but it's going to be a lot of fun and a hell of a challenge.
Do they get a mattress on here?
Oh no. One thing I love about this sport is that's al naturel in the ground. I mean, what we get is what we get. You know, if we started to manicure the round ground and clear everything out, you know, it takes the whole fun out of the thing.
Oh, I don't want to be too nice to them.
No, you've got a few obstacles and things to, you know, it's part of the challenge. So.
Yeah, well, this one's looking like fun, Steve.
It is, it will be fun. And this is what we call a speed event, so it shouldn't take too long to do this one. It's minimal targets, and you'll find it'll probably take most people longer to actually put their magazine in their gun and load the gun and get into position that will actually shoot the targets.
Well, thanks, Steve. I think the rifle is looking like an epic event.
I can't wait to shoot it myself.
Donna, that looked awesome. How was that round?
Oh, that was good. I thought it would be a little bit tricky, but it actually turned out really easy. It was great. Great fun.
How much practice do you need to be able to hit those targets?
You need a lot more practice than what I put into it, I'm afraid, but usually I just arrive and wing it, and it turns out okay. I've always got a smile on my face.
You had a quick time. Did you hit many alphas?
I had one miss, unfortunately, but yeah, pretty good. It was okay. Yeah.
Showing the blokes up?
Oh, I've got to do that all the time. That's my job.
Well done, Donna.
Thank you.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, it's easy.
Are you ready? Stand by.
That looked pretty good. Everything go to plan?
Not too bad. I had a different plan on this stage to most people. I did most of it kneeling and some tricky tight shots around the corner, but not too bad.
So why did you choose kneeling?
Bit easier for a big guy, don't have to get down all the way and can pivot more easily on my knees.
Now this sport differs quite a lot in Australia where you're from. How does it differ to competing in New Zealand?
So New Zealand, there's a lot more variety in terms of shooting sports. In Australia, we're very limited when it comes to rifles and shotguns. We have pistol matches that are very similar, but the rifle and shotgun matches are a lot more restricted.
So less practice on the rifle over in Aussie, does that give you a disadvantage, do you think?
Definitely for me. Some of our guys do a lot of practice with bolt action rifles and their accuracy is very good. But yeah, definitely tough to compete here against the local guys.
You're still going to show the Kiwis up though, right?
I'll do my best.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Lee, you smoked it out there. How did that round go?
Yeah, it goes pretty well. It's a bit slack, but I could do a bit better. The hits is not that great. Still, yeah, that's pretty average, but not bad.
How many alphas did you get? Because you were quick.
I think half was alpha and then a couple of Charlies and one Delta.
So you think you're sitting pretty good on the scoreboard so far?
At the moment, I think I am. Time is pretty good. Also, the accuracies.
Now I notice you're supporting our Aussie Aussie competitor quite a bit. Are you Kiwi or Aussie?
Kind of Kiwi now.
Well done, Lee.
Thanks.
Thanks, Lee. So we've managed to catch up with Jim from Guns NZ, our sponsor here at the Three Gun Nationals. Now, Jim, you've got a huge and impressive array of guns here. What exactly do you stock?
Well, this is just a fraction of what we have. We've got the largest collection of competition pistols and rifles in New Zealand, and key distributorships for all the top-end AR rifles and pistols. For example, we distribute JP Enterprises rifles. This is a JP AR-15 made for competition. It's got a side charging handle, a top charging handle. It's all milled out of aluminum. It's not drop forged. But this is what the top guys are shooting here today. They're shooting JPs. People that shoot in competitions end up buying things like that. It's an STI. And it's an open gun. It's got a sight. There's different classes. We won't get into all that, but they don't mind spending $8,000 on a handgun because they're going to win with it.
Is there a lot of maintenance to be had for these guns?
Well, yeah, and everybody has spare parts. We sell a lot of spare parts. I think your average shooter is their mid-30s to mid-60s. It's fun. It's great fun to shoot. I mean, there's nothing like it.
Managed to catch up with Brent now with Guns NZ as well. Now, Brent is a bit of an expert, you could say. You're also a winner at these events as well. Tell me about your career shooting guns.
I started when I was 23, shooting pistol competitively, and I've won 9 New Zealand nationals in pistol disciplines. And making up the higher grades is really a goal.
So how does that help you when someone comes in to speak to you to talk about what they might want to purchase, whether they're entry level or working up through the grades? How does that help you having your own competitive experience?
A great deal, yeah, because obviously the gear does cost money. Everybody has a budget. And they're coming at it with different skills. So some people have never fired a firearm before, other people have quite a history. So we look at what their skills are, what their budget is. We try to give them the best advice around what divisions they're going to shoot and what takes their fancy, and then we go from there. We try to fit the gear to suit all of those three things.
And finally, the fog has lifted, which means we can head to Range 1 for 200 metres of shooting precision. So Steve and I are now at Range 1, Stage 1 of the rifle, and I think we've got ourselves a Holden to get into over there. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, it's a lovely little Holden, isn't it?
Well, let's go and take a seat.
Shall we?
Travelling in style. So tell me about this. This is great.
Okay, this is one of many different styles of stage props we might use in a match. This particular one, we've got 6 rifle targets at 200 metres and 180 and 150 metres down track, and when the competitor is instructed to, they will get into the car, they will sit on the marks here and assume the position. The RO will call, "Are you ready? Stand by," and you will proceed to shoot those targets. In the course book and on the notice on the side here, it basically instructs the squad and the shooter how you will go about shooting those targets. So when you look in this car, you'll see red funny painted lines. The RO will say, "Are you ready? Stand by," the time will go beep. And this particular one, you have to engage 3 of the targets from this side of the car. And 3 of the targets from that side of the car.
And there's not much room for error, is there?
There is some more.
So what would happen if I'm here trying to engage and hit the targets and I fail?
If you continue to fail, remember you're on a points time scoring system. So really this whole particular stage 1 is valued at 60 points. If it becomes not doable, your best option is to basically at least try and engage every single one. That way you're not going to incur any penalties for failure to engage. You're better off not to waste all your time and effort and lots of ammo not actually succeeding in the stage.
Joe, that was impressive out there. Everyone gave you a round of applause.
Thank you.
That went well.
Yeah, I think it's beginner's luck really. It's my first time here at 3 Gun Nationals, and probably the second day I've actually shot that gun, so yeah, well pleased with that, can't complain.
You made it look, actually, dare I say it, easy, even though it clearly isn't.
I'm not the fastest shooter in the world around the other stages, but I have done a fair amount of precision rifle shooting, reloading my own ammo for long distance targets, so I guess that sort of played a part in, you know, controlling the breathing, slowing down, squeezing the trigger, which helped today, I think.
So if range 1 is probably maybe your best effort today, that was fantastic, will that bump you up overall?
Yeah, here's hoping. Yeah, the scores will come out very shortly.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Chris, even superheroes like yourself don't always have the best luck out there. What happened on range 1?
Just the prop was wobbly. Everyone relies on props being firm and good support, but I just didn't pick the right shooting position, the right style for that long range stuff, unfortunately.
This is the last range for you today. How have the other ranges gone?
Oh, really good. We've had a good up and down battle with Dean. So yeah, looking forward to shotgun and pistol in the next 2 days.
So this might affect your overnight score a little bit, but you're looking to sort of punch back because you have won this, let's be honest, the last 3 years in a row.
I might put something out there. I won actually 5 years in a row. So with 3 gun is really good because you've got the 3 disciplines. You have to have an average. So as long as you're in the top 95%, you're doing all right. So you can have off stages or an off course of fire, so it's good because it's 3 days, 3 different guns. You can just go for it, and the results are at the end.
So a lot of these guys are your buddies. I mean, there's great friendship out there. Will you feel happy for someone if you get sort of bumped off that trophy?
Why not? You know, we're all family. You know, it's next year, so you got to strive harder for next year. You know, get to the gym more, develop some gear a bit better, more shooting. Yeah, it's good.
Spoken like a true Kiwi.
South Islander.
Oh, hey, snap! Hey.
Are you ready? Stand by.
It's a bit awkward of a position, but yeah, it's just try and do your best, I suppose.
Dean, that looked pretty awesome. How did it feel out there?
And that went pretty well. Possibly could have slowed down a bit, trying to go too fast like I normally do, but you know, other than that, it was pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
You got Chris breathing down your neck. He's done pretty well today as well. Is that what maybe pushed you into being a bit quick out there and making it maybe a little bit of an error?
Yeah, definitely. That's always sort of the case. I think we're always pretty close in the rifle, so seeing each other shoot, especially in the same squad, we're always sort of trying to beat each other and make up time where we can. So
who's got it with the pistol and the shotgun? Who's better, you or Chris?
Oh, well, Chris has normally got the shotgun because he's got a mag gun. I've got the Benelli tube gun, so he's sort of got an advantage. To do a reload, he only has to change his mag. Where I have to do speed loads, like it's a bit more difficult, takes a bit longer. But we're normally pretty close in the handgun as well. But lately, I've been beating him in that, so should be able to do that again, hopefully.
Ooh, the competition's on. So that brings day 1, the rifle, to a close, and tomorrow we're all about the shotgun. As competitors start to arrive for day 2, the shotgun, the one thing I found absolutely fascinating was that some wanted to know how well they were sitting after the rifle, but others would rather be left in the dark.
That was my worst one.
Nice. Congratulations.
3 misses cost me 20 places. Third there. It's not bad. Not a bad run. Gun's running well. To get sort of 3rd, 4th in a competition like this, yeah, it's good. Looking forward to today. We'll see how we go. Shotgun could be interesting and good fun. So, all right, better go and get ready.
Which day is you reckon is going to be your best event?
Well, unfortunately, it was yesterday. So, yeah, we'll see how we go today with the shotgun. It's the one that I was probably least confident in, the shotgun.
It was terrible last year. It was very, very cold here and wet and muddy. But this year it's a big improvement. Looking forward to it.
Well, it should be a good day.
A quick briefing kicked off the action this morning, and then one final check for the competitors as they headed off to today's shotgun ranges. Well, it's day 2 and today it's all about the shotgun.
First time, so just gonna enjoy and go slow and make sure I do everything properly. I haven't practiced it much, but yeah, it's just give it a go and wing it, I suppose. Looking forward to it.
Steve at number 20. This one has a seated start, shall we say. Relaxing. Let's take a look.
Okay, the competitor for this one's going to start seated in the chair. Position the chair at the arrow's command. Shotgun is loaded, laying across both knees, safety on. On the start signal, you will start to engage all these array of steels throughout this course of time, or on these fault lines. So, once again, it's up to them how they choose to engage the target and in what order. It's quite a long run. So you're running down and you'll see them appear as you go right down to this corner. There's 3 steels in here to engage. 1, 2, and 1 right round there, which you'll see right at the corner.
Bit of a workout, this one.
It's a good jog.
See competitors loading on the run?
You'll have to in this one. Yeah, loading on the walk more than likely. Having this distance means you're kind of walking at a bit of a gait. So you can just load your rounds in. As many as you think. As soon as you get to the area you're going to shoot, you hope you've got enough in there to carry on with that little piece.
It's pretty intense. How long do you think on average it's going to take from start till they're finished?
I'd say to run this one here, this could be a 50, 60 second stage.
It's quite intense, isn't it?
It's very intense. The object is to hide them everywhere you can. And the good thing about this facility, we have a lot of natural fauna and flora that you can actually tuck things behind.
And there's a fantail even. Right on
There's
cue.
a lot of wildlife down here.
Beautiful.
We've got wallabies down here.
Oh, I bet we have. We've got it all.
Yeah, we have it all.
Okay, well, that's it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, I tell you what, it's about to get underway, so let's take a look and see just how fast and furious the shotgun's going to be.
Awesome.
But first up, let's check in with Dean to run us through the shotgun. So day 2 is all about the shotgun, and I've got my expert here, Dean, to tell us all about it. Now we've got 2 different types of shotgun here, Dean. What are we looking at?
Okay, so there's 2 different divisions that we normally run. An open shotgun, which will be this shotgun here. The difference being there's a red dot on top, generally an optic, and main difference is the loading. So the guys that are shooting open will have the mag loaders, so they'll have shotgun rounds loaded into here and actually slide them into here and push the rounds up into the mag and then throw that away. So that's the biggest difference. They can also run compensator, which is this piece on the end of the barrel, and that aims the muzzle blast to stop the gun rocking around pretty much. Everything else is exactly the same. It's a totally different thing looking at red dot optic, looking down that rather than a standard shotgun, which is this one here. All I'm looking at is that little green bead on the top of the barrel. So I'm looking down the barrel and putting that green dot on, as opposed to actually having a lens with a red dot on the top here. So we shoot birdshot, which is your normal tiny little balls. We shoot buckshot, which is 7-round ball in one cartridge, and we shoot solids as well. It's a speed game with shotgun, so the faster you can load your gun, and the faster you can hit those plates to knock them off, the faster you can go.
And I guess then, because it's obviously slower to load the standard, there are two different divisions. You don't compete open against standard?
No, yeah, standard and open is open, yeah, because there's so much of a difference in the guns, particularly in the loading. These are manual loaded, so we actually take rounds with our fingers and poke them into the mag well, whereas these guys have got their speed loaders and they just jam that in and slot them up.
Ready?
Oh, it's exhilarating.
Yeah?
Yeah, first time shooting the shotgun. Yeah. Whew.
How do you think you did?
Oh, I don't really care, eh? Pretty average, but I had fun, so that's all that matters.
Like a fucking clock spring. How'd you do, boss?
Sorry?
How'd you do?
Too stressed. Wound up like a clock spring. I didn't do very well at all. That was pretty loose. I should have done that a hell of a lot better than that. You know, all those extra reloads, because I was missing. I was just, the whole morning with doing what I've been doing, been working the match, wound me up a bit. So yeah, should have been a lot more fluid. Traditionally, I would have had enough rounds to go to there, load a heck of a handful there and continue down the course of fire. So all those backup misses really cost me.
Cheers for blaming me for that, Steve-O. Chris, I know you're disappointed with that, but that was super impressive, your precision, but what went wrong?
Glitch with the mag, probably shouldn't have loaded that one maybe you saw at the beginning. They have what they call one up the chamber and your magazine full, which gave you 11 rounds, which gave you a couple of spare rounds if you had a miss for walking and shooting. Fell out. Then whatever, pulling other mags out, they fell out. Plus I didn't have enough at the end of the course of fire. I've got 40 on my belt and I only had 18 rounds and I still failed, so.
You're still not fast.
Thanks. Thanks very much.
And now it's off to range 19. Now on range 19, Steve, it looks like we've got a bit of a climb.
We have, and I'll show you the start position for this stage. You're going to start with your heels where you are now, facing that way. Your shotgun is going to be loaded. It's going to be on either that shelf there where the little arrow is, or that shelf. At the start signal, you'll have to climb up here, come on up. You have to retrieve your gun, and then start shooting all these array of steel plates you can see around you. And you'll have to go from each side, okay? So we've put this in as a little bit of a vision barrier as a teaser to keep you going left and right without just standing in one place. And it must be engaged from within, and you can't go back over here either, so you can't lean back there and shoot.
Brilliant, another fast and furious.
This will be fast and furious.
Mel, there's not too many ladies in this sport. What got you into shooting?
I shot clay bird for many years, and then my husband and I decided we wanted to get some pistols, and got pistols, and then went on to rifle. So it's just built from shotgun.
And what do you love about this 3-gun nationals and the competition?
The camaraderie, the fact that you get to use 3 guns. Yeah, your skills are tested because you can be rusty in one area. Like I shoot a lot more pistol than any other gun. So yeah, when it comes to shotgun, I haven't shot clay birds in a long time, so shooting steel is quite different. And yeah, I missed one, so I'm a bit bummed on that stage, but you get that, so yeah.
And it's an impressive sport, isn't it? You talked about the camaraderie, everyone has such good team spirits, and the safety is paramount as well.
Oh, exceptionally, yeah. We have really good range officers, and yep, our squad leaders are really good at the safety, and that's pretty much what they like to emphasise, is safety. And yeah, so yeah, at every stage you're either reminded to keep your gun pointed up and make sure your chamber flags are in, so yeah. Yeah, safety's a big thing.
Andy, that looked a little bit disappointing out there, and there were a lot of sighs from the other competitors supporting you. What went wrong?
I find just on game days, it's the first shoot is the toughest for me, because it's like you've got to blow all the cobwebs out of all the nerves and the pressure, and then after that the day seems to come right. So for me the first shoot's always a bummer and a bugger. Things never go according to plan, but you learn from it from your first shoot, and then you take it on into the next shoot. And if you can control your emotions over the day, everything just starts falling into place and going according to plan. That's easier said than done.
So it's a lot of sports psychology, isn't it, to be able to get control of your nerves even if you have a bad start and then go on and nail it at the next range?
I think you'll find that in all sport it's more mind over the physical side of it. Like we're trained for this, we train constantly and repetitively, but on game day it becomes a mind game. And those mind games can stuff everything up and put you right back to the beginning again.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Shannon, you're in the premier spot coming into today after yesterday's event. How did that round go up there with the shotgun?
Yeah, it started out really well. About halfway through I kind of had a couple of misses, so I had to back them up. But yeah, it was okay, I wanted to do a little bit better, but overall it was pretty good, not too bad.
And the rain started coming down right before you started to shoot. Does that have an effect at all?
A little bit. When you've got an optic on the gun, if you get a splash on the optic, it can sort of get a double dot, which makes it tough. But generally speaking, you're kind of just wanting to shoot it, get it out the way, enjoy it while you're doing it. So it does have a little bit of a bearing, especially when it starts to get a little bit slippery. But other than that, you kind of it's shooting, you just got to shoot through. Yeah.
Well, it looks like the rain might be set in now, so at least everyone's got the same problems from now on for the rest of today.
Yeah, no, it was a bit tough. It was me when it started raining, but I mean, you've got to shoot in all conditions, and it's just part of the game. It's really enjoyable. It just adds another dynamic that you've got to sort of take into consideration. Like I said before, especially with it being a little slippery, you've got to be really careful of muzzle direction if you do go over. But other than that, just a bit of fun.
Well, best of the luck for the rest of the day then, Shannon. All the best for shotgun.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
As the rain comes down, we head on over to Range 18. Range 18, now we weren't here yesterday, Steve, so this is shotgun. Let's suss it out.
So basically, the shooter stays in this line. You have paper targets with this one, right? Because you're shooting a solid round of lead, it's just a big bullet. So they must shoot 2 at each target. It's 5 papers, 10 hits. The start position is the gun is on here, unloaded. All the rounds you need are on your personal belt. You stand with your heels at that mark, hands at sides. On the start signal, you retrieve your shotgun and you load it, and then you proceed to shoot the paper targets. And you come across here, you'll see there, and you must proceed. And there's 2 under that table, which are low behind the middle wall. And then if you go to the other end, you'll see that one again, but there's another one behind that wall. This is actually quite exciting and fun. Those big solids are good fun to shoot. Just hard to patch. We use masking tape to patch these targets because they're at big holes. So
this one will be fast and furious, won't it?
Fast and furious.
The rain certainly is setting in now, but I tell you what, spirits amongst these competitors are still high. I don't think the rain's going to let up anytime soon. No. It's got that real set in for the day feel, hasn't it? Yeah. Oh, luckily this lot are quite tough. You're all tough lads and lasses.
Oh, we love the range.
Yeah. Just adds to the environment, really, doesn't it?
3 targets under that drone if you want to, isn't it?
James, your role today is 2 hats really, range officer as well as competitor. What actually is involved in the range officer today?
Well, obviously it's very safety orientated, our sport. The range officer, his role is to ensure that the competitor as well as the other squad members are safe and such. So he also is the timekeeper. The way they score our sport, it is score divided by time and such. And the guy with the highest, obviously the highest hit factor is the winner of the day. Yeah.
And it's a very friendly sport here. You're all competing, but you all pitch in to help catch the targets, prepare things, run it.
Yeah, most of these guys we've competed against for the last couple of years. So not only do we see them in this circuit, which is 3 gun, but we also see them in pistol as well, and possibly rifle later on down the line. But yeah, it is quite a friendly sport. Yeah.
Do you find it difficult switching between being range officer and then switching over and competing, getting your head into that different headspace?
No, not really. It's I've been competing for about 7 years now, so it has been a while. So, and you know, I mean, part of it is helping out and being an RO and giving the ROs a break and such. So, no, I mean, once you're on the line and such, it's a mental game for us. So, once you're on the line, everything you just block out everything and you just
Now you did pretty well yesterday. Do you like to know where you're sitting coming into day 2?
Not at all. But I think the best way to do it is just concentrate on your own performance and then the results will come.
So it's such a mental sport as well as pure skill, isn't it?
It is purely, you know, like everyone shoots at a similar level. So, you know, it's the one who can hold it together the best will win the day. You know, and eventually, hopefully win the tournament. Yeah.
Thanks, James. You certainly are a cool customer.
Thank you. Cheers.
Our next range is certainly very busy. Now it's on to range 14, Steve. Let's take a look.
This stage here, you'll see the shapes of the targets here. They're called poppers. Don't ask me the history of why they're called pepper poppers, but basically we have standard or full-size pepper poppers, and then behind them are the mini pepper poppers. So they're supposed to duplicate distance. Basically, the competitor is going to start with their heels against this mark. They must remain within this demarcated zone, and through those targets, and they're all pepper poppers. And this is shot with buckshot. It's like 9mm handgun bullets going off once. They can go anywhere they like, but it doesn't say have to come this way to start. It's up to you as a choice. That's what I love about the sport, it's choice. And then from each window, you'll actually see the array of targets. They look very close. They're actually regulation distance to steel for birdshot and pistol rounds and buckshot at 8 metres.
This looks like a lot of fun.
Well, they have fun. Shotgun is fun. Combat shotgun is really quite fun.
Philip, that looked pretty smooth out there. How do you stay focused? There's a lot to think about, a lot going on.
My first concern is safety. Always go out to shoot a nice safe match. Once you know that your gun's working fine, it just goes into automatic mode and hopefully come out on top.
You see a lot of competitors out there, especially with the shotgun, reloading between windows in this range, fumbling and then losing vital seconds. How do you stay quick yet methodical? Is it just pure practice?
Most of it comes down to practice. Definitely practicing it. The more you practice, the better you get. But yeah, definitely practice is the way to go.
In this Pistol New Zealand 3-gun nationals, there are obviously 3 very separate days. What's your best gun?
Honestly, I enjoy them all. They're all good to shoot. Bit of passion there for the pistol, but still all 3 guns are awesome to shoot. So much fun.
Now obviously today you're all sporting pretty wicked looking belts. Tell me about this.
Yeah, loading on the go, on the move. People have different ways to load. These ones here, grab 4 at a time, and then load them into the shotgun as you're moving along. People have the different styles, but definitely you got to practice with the style that you got. And I find enough ammunition on the belt, and once you're loaded in the gun, you can do a full course of fire.
What if you run out of ammo out there, if you have a particularly unfortunate round? What happens then?
You end up getting misses and failure to engages. You call it that that's the end. So yeah, if you run out, tough luck.
And are those penalties very costly overall at the end of the day, even if you go well at the other ranges?
It does add up in the end. It's all time onto the end of it. So the quicker you can do it, the better it is. Plus, as long as you get your hits as well. So if you run out and you don't get those targets down, you're bad luck.
We saw range 13 yesterday for the rifle. Now let's see how it differs for the shotgun. Right now we're on range 13. Let's go take a look.
Come with me. The competitor that's shooting at the time will be ushered onto the range, and with this particular course of fire, they're going to be starting up here. So the start position will be on this line with the shotgun loaded at port arms, which is a hip and hold, and at the start signal they then have to engage all these plates and seals, and because these walls here are an imaginary wall, they go to the sky and to the ground. So theoretically, once they've done that, they're going to come back to here and they shoot these three. Then they must go across this side and exact the same mirror image on the other side. So they're going to do it twice, but they have the option in this stage to either start from this side or that side. And then they've got to come all the way backwards, and then they're going to come down here. Muzzle of the gun always must point down range, no matter which way you look. It always has to track to the end of the range for safety. So you tend to hold the rifle like this. And on this particular part, they must be behind these two posts before they shoot those two and swing over to those two.
Action stations.
Action station. Shotgun is fast and furious in the shooting, but of course it's very slow in the loading. The loading technique on shotgun is what will save you time. If you can load a magazine or a tube fast, you're going to save an immense amount of time, because the actual shooting of the course of fire is quite quick. And with steel it's great, there's no patching, so it's just time recorded, all the hits recorded, stand all the targets back on the stands again, next shooter.
And every split second counts.
It does.
Range 16 is up next, so let's head back to the forest. So now Steve and I are at range 16 for the shotgun. Oh, it's a bit of a forest in there.
Yes, it is. It's a little bit of a jungle run, isn't it? So basically your start position will be sitting on the log, which is now a sawhorse, with the shotgun loaded across, sitting across knee safety on. Okay. So in the start signal, you will stand and you will jump and you'll run around the stage and shoot all the targets you see.
Brilliant.
It's all birdshot and it's all steel plates. So what we have here is a demarcated line that they must remain in. This one has idiosyncrasies of 90 breaks and danger points that you've got all trap shooters to overdoing it, and then they could go home. So what we've actually put this line in here to keep a safe 8 metre mark back from that steel plate. And we've also deemed that this peg here, for safety, is the furthest this way down range that they can engage that steel, because then they start to get into going backwards and danger. The object of the exercise is it's not a stand in one spot and shoot. You've got to let them find the stuff and then go and shoot the stuff. And they're all randomly spaced out here, and you'll find from this point, they can't go over this line. So if they step over here and fire a shot, they actually get a penalty for every shot fired. And you'll see them staggered around. And what you've got to do is you've got to work out in your mind how you're going to attack the stage and break it down.
So obviously the competitors get told how many targets there are, but it's up to them to eyeball them and count them.
Yes, they have to find them. If we tell them where they all are, then it's no fun. You can let them got the challenge in their mind.
So speed, intelligence, accuracy, it's all comes into play here.
Yes, it's like solving little intricate puzzles, you know, and where you think you could save time on your fellow competitor.
Fun. Well, this range could be quite interesting.
Oh yes, we have a lot of fun up here. We call this like a little mini jungle range.
Love it. Let's go to the next one.
Well, yes, let's go.
Craig, obviously safety is paramount in the sport. Tell me about some of the procedures that actually come into play before an event such as this.
Yeah, so safety is extremely paramount. It's one of the first things that goes on at any range competition. Basically, the protocol that people have to go through when they first start off shooting it is they have to do a range officer's ticket. So we train, a licensed trainer trains them on the range safety, gun handling, and then as you go through the different sports, you have to do different qualifications. Every part of the safety in this is just drilled into people, and that's what, that's the paramount of the sport. Shooting's fun, but safety comes first.
And how have you gone so far today?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm reasonably happy with the results. Of course, I'll be reviewing the footage tonight to make sure I sort of pick up on any improvements that need to be done.
Well, that was a very exciting day for the shotgun. The rain did come down, but all the competitors seemed in fantastic spirits. But coming up, it's going to be the pistol on day 3 of the Pistol New Zealand 3-Gun Nationals. Day 3 sees us keenly head back through Rotorua to witness the pistol shooting and see just how pivotal this day's action is going to be for those final placings. So it's day 3 here at Pistol New Zealand 3-Gun Nationals, and I've managed to catch up with a very busy lady. This is Debbie, who's also brilliant with a pistol, but is the president of Pistol New Zealand. Now, if anyone at home is like me and they're watching this and thinking, my goodness, this is a fun sport, I want to learn more about it, where should they go?
Okay, the first thing they can do is have a look at our website, which is www.pistolnz.org.nz. There's lots of information there. All the clubs are listed there, where they are, what they do, so you can have a really good look and just see what you're interested in.
And what can people expect when they find their local club? And there's clubs all over New Zealand, isn't there?
So what they need to do is they need to have a firearms licence. And you can actually go out to the pistol club and have a look and just see if it's for you. But before you're able to join a club, you will need to have a firearms licence. We'll take you through a really quite a formal training program, show you all about the firearms, show you how to shoot safely, how to engage different targets, what to do. And that process normally takes about 6 months. It's a probationary period. After that probationary period, then they can apply for their endorsement. It's got some shooting going on. And that endorsement will allow them to buy a pistol or one of the sporting rifles that you've seen over the last couple of days, and then you'll be able to take part in something like this.
So I guess if you don't know anything about shooting, but it's something that's always caught your interest, and maybe you've watched this program, that this is a great sport for people to be supported and learn more about.
Absolutely. I've actually been in the organisation over 30 years. My mum and dad are shooters. Dad shot internationally, so obviously that's sort of how I got involved. But it's a great big family, and the guys and girls are fantastic, and they just want to help everybody and just show you what to do. They'll let you have a go with their firearms, and so that you can really work out what part of it is for you, because there's a lot of different classes within shooting. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, I really love it.
And the last 2 days we've seen all sorts of excitement with the rifle and the shotgun, but today is pistol. Do you think we're going to see things maybe change a little bit on the leaderboard?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Predominantly we're all pistol shooters, so today is where we're really shooting what we've been doing for a long time. So there'll be a few guys at the top, sort of in that top 5 for shotgun and rifle, and today the pistol and their ability with the pistol is really going to make a difference. So yeah, I expect that leaderboard to change, so it's going to be exciting.
Debbie, we have quite a beautiful arrangement of pistols here. Tell me about these.
Okay, so yeah, we've just got 2 different divisions within the pistol part of the 3-gun, and that's standard division and open division. And it's quite simple, really. Open division means that they've got optics, and standard division means that they don't. So standard division, they have the old traditional sights that you find on rifles from the past. So if we look at the pistols here, so open guns, you can see here we've got the 2, they've both got optics. And you can have either a 38 super caliber or a 9mm caliber, and they shoot major caliber mostly, which just means that the bullet travels faster, and so it's just a higher speed once it leaves the chamber. Okay, so for the 38 super caliber, that's this one here. So you can see that it's a slightly longer bullet, and it means that it's got more powder in it, so therefore that just gives it more pressure, so therefore it travels faster once it leaves the gun. Some of the newer open category firearms now, like this one here, uses the 9mm, which is the smaller one there. So it's got less powder, but because it's also a smaller case, you still get those high pressures, and so the bullet will travel really fast. The other category is standard class, which are these 2 ones here. And so you can either shoot a 40 caliber, which is the middle bullet, that one there, which is a heavier, slightly slower bullet. Because the actual projectile is heavier, it still makes the grade for major. And then you've got a Glock here, and that shoots a 9mm. Police use the Glock, and it's a little bit different than the others, in that its safety is actually part of the trigger. So I don't know if you can see there, but that safety there. So unlike the other firearms that have a manual safety on the side, which I'll show you in a second, this one, when you actually hold the firearm, you actually depress the safety as you pull the trigger. So that's just a little bit different style to get used to.
So how do you actually use the optics in the open category gun?
Okay, so in the centre of the scope there's a little red dot. Let's turn it on. And so when you hold the firearm up, wherever that dot is, that is where the shot will go. So it just means that it's a lot quicker for your long range shooting. There's a little bit more, as I said before, a little bit more power from there, so they have a little bit more recoil, and the recoil is that when the muzzle just lifts, and that's why it's got these, you've seen this, which the others don't have, and this is called compensator. So the gases come out the compensator, and that makes your gun sit flat. So instead of getting a big boom sort of lift, it'll just lift like that while you're shooting it. And that means that for your second shot, you can actually get back onto the target a lot quicker.
Because it's all about speed, isn't it? All the competitors are being timed.
Yes, absolutely. So it's your score divided by your time. So obviously if you take longer, then what we call it the hit factor will be less. And the person at the end of the day with the highest hit factor is going to be the winner.
And how are the targets actually scored?
Okay, so there's three scoring rings on the target. The centre one is 5 points, and the next one out is 3 and then 2. So obviously it's the top 2 shots count, so you could fire 3 at the target, but your best 2 will count. So if you get 2 A zones, we call them, then you're going to get maximum 10 points, and so that's what everyone's going for.
By day 3, I was starting to look like I'd been dragged through a gorse bush backwards, but spirits were still high as we caught up with Steve to talk us through today's action. So Steve's a very busy man today, but we've managed to track him down to find out exactly what the courses are like out there and the challenges for the pistol. So what are we going to see today?
Today you're going to see a lot of challenges. We have a swinging target. We have strong hand only, which means they have to actually engage all paper targets with their strong hand. And we have things like over here, we have lots of doors and ports you've got to open and challenging positions to shoot from. We have something like this here. The idea of this one here is to force the competitor into some very tight, uncomfortable positions to see if they can still shoot accurately and fast. So it's not about standing in one spot, just shooting guns down range. We do all this quite active, dynamic sort of shooting, and that's what it's all about. We have ones down here on the platform. It's just a different start position, so they're actually forced to face away from the targets, so they can't get any preemption about the targets. So it's quite interesting, if you turn the shooter around that way and face that way, how much they tend to forget or lose their mind as they swing that way and go up and start shooting. And it's also about safety, because suddenly they're actually now facing the crowd with the gun loaded and holstered, and they've got to make sure that they're pointing that way, turn that way, before they pull the gun out of the holster. So it's all about driving home safety, so all these courses present those types of challenges. We have a course of fire down the front here, which you're basically starting with an empty gun and all your magazines on the table, and now you've got to shoot through 2 very difficult portals, i.e. drums, to engage the paper target. So this is what it's all about. It's creating dynamics in the sport.
Well done, Steve. We better let you catch up with your group, but thanks. This looks like a fantastic day for pistol.
Well, one hopes so. If the weather holds off, it'll be awesome.
And we let Steve escape at that point, so we didn't ruin his chances today for the pistol. As everyone sets up for today's exciting action, the rain looks to be possibly lurking over behind us, but it looks like a pretty good start. And it's a great start for all the competitors on range 19. Another fast and furious start to the day for the pistol. Glenn, day 3, the pistol. How'd you go out there?
Not too bad. Too many Charlies, one Delta, so could have done better, but we got a reshoot on that. So it was strong hand when we first shot it. Changed it to freehand, so I'm happy with that because I got 2 mics and a strong hand.
So why was that? Why was it changed?
It's a misread in the instructions, so the whole squad gets to shoot it again. Some people will be happy, me, some people won't.
Right, it's a bit like that. Now, all walks of life are involved in the sport. What do you do for work?
Plumber gas fitter by trade, so yeah.
And what other kind of occupations do we see out here in people?
Yeah, met a guy from Auckland today, or on 2 days ago. He's a finance broker from Auckland, so yeah, quite different.
There are all sorts of varied people. Well, you're looking forward to the rest of the range today. The rain has finally cleared up this morning, so how do you think you're going to fare?
I just want to get through the day without a couple of mics, so I'll be happy with that.
Well, good luck, Glenn.
Cheers, thank you.
On mate, ready.
Shannon, you've done really well the last 2 days, and now it's pistol. Does the pressure come on that you know you've got to perform?
Yeah, a little bit. To be honest, if you're your own worst enemy, you really got to just sort of enjoy the shoot, take it through, take it in small steps. Yeah, you basically
surround sound.
Yeah, you just basically got to take the pressure off yourself. Take it slow. I mean, it's all about consistency. You can shoot one stage really, really well, and then snowball the next one. So you just basically want to take your time, make sure you get the hits. You still want to be fast, but you don't want to go 110% and start making mistakes. So it's all about consistency.
And the weather, will it come into play if it starts coming down? Have you been caught in a rain shower yet today?
Yeah, look, the first stage it was muddy. It was probably up to about our knees, and we're sort of sliding all over the show. So you've got to just take a little bit of time, just be a little bit more careful. With the rain, with the optics, it can have a bit of a bearing as well. So you really just got to take your time and make sure that you're not going too fast so you don't make mistakes.
And I noticed on one of the ranges you're actually shooting inside a barrel. What kind of challenges does that pose?
When you're shooting an open gun, they've all got compensators on the front, so you get a lot of pressure coming up. So if you're shooting inside a barricade, you get a lot more sound. Also with the weather, what's going to happen with all the pressure coming at the end of the gun is it's going to throw drops and rain and water all up into your face. So you've really just got to make sure that you can acquire the target, be aware of what's going to happen, and then, just shoot it.
Well, good luck, Shannon.
Awesome, thanks very much.
Cool, that's great. Range 21 has a rather novel start to it. First off, competitors must hit a plate to release the swinging target, and then it's all on from there. Rosie, you're absolutely pumping. How did that go?
Oh, it was awesome. Absolutely brilliant, and I got them all on, so that's a bonus.
So what do you mean by I got them all on?
Every target had holes in it that were supposed to have holes in it. So even that swinging one, which you saw was quite tricky, took me a wee while, but yeah, they're there.
So what was your technique in the swinging one?
Just concentrate concentrate, look at your sights.
Did you follow it or did you wait for it to come to you?
No, I always follow just slightly in front. Yeah.
Well, Rosie, you're looking good. You got the red bands on today.
Yeah, gorgeous. This is the look.
Yeah.
This is the look.
You are owning it, Rosie. Owning it.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Might have been a patch on it. No,
Brent, that looked like a lot of fun out there with that swinging target. How did it go?
Yeah, it sure was a lot of fun. You had a few jams though, so that made it a little bit tougher, but I got everything, so pretty happy.
So how do you keep your cool when you've got a jam?
Yeah, some people don't, obviously, but you just got to go on. It's all time, so if you get flustered, it just takes longer, so you just have to concentrate.
And what technique did you go for in trying to hit the swinging targets as quickly as possible?
I took my time, I think. It's just, if you line it up and pull the trigger just as it's about to pass, then usually you hit it. So I got those. I didn't get the protected target, so I was quite happy.
Well done, Brent.
Thank you.
There are all sorts of characters in this sport. You've already met the lovely Rosie with the red bands. Well, this is her other half, the gorgeous Julian, all the way from Christchurch. Do you get to travel a bit with the sport?
A fair bit, yeah, all over the country and a few overseas trips, yeah.
And what's it like competing with your wife?
Oh, it's great, yeah. I load her ammo, clean her magazines, pick up her brass. It's really good, yeah.
She did say that she doesn't clean a dirty mag.
No, she doesn't clean a dirty mag, but she shoots well. Yeah, proud of her shooting. Yeah.
Well, that's the main thing. Well, all the best for this weekend. Are you doing well as a family?
Oh, we're doing great, yeah. I had a great run there. I'm really happy, and Rosie got through it and hit everything as well, so we both hit everything.
Well, she was pumped when she came off. She was absolutely elated. She hit all the targets.
Yeah.
So is there a bit of rivalry between the two of you? Who does better?
Well, if she ever beats me, I don't hear the end of it. Don't happen too often.
Do you think she beat you today?
No. She's not going to.
Well, you dodged a bullet, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thanks, Julia.
Thank you.
Now heading over to range 23, where competitors have to open what looks like windows and doors first before they then shoot through. Lee, you're a very successful shooter, shall we say. Where are you off to in August?
I'm off to August in France to shoot the World's APESET Championship, representing for New Zealand. So there's a great opportunity. So hopefully I can do better for that.
How many of you are travelling from New Zealand together, and how many of you are in the team?
We about 15 travel together. It's about 21 in the team, and I'm representing for Classic Division. Also is Open, Standards and Productions as well.
Now you've travelled a bit to come here. You're from Christchurch. What do you do in Christchurch?
I'm driving trucks on Mainfree as an owner driver. Been there for 2.5 years. Really enjoy it.
And how long have you been shooting pistol? Not long when you think about it.
Now, I've been shooting pistol about 2 years, and before I was shooting Olympic traps. Yeah, so this is a great sport. I really enjoyed it.
And going from your previous sport, which is clay shooting, isn't it, to this, what's the biggest difference, and what do you like about pistol?
Pistol is more like running, so keep me fit. Is meeting more people in clays, most likely maybe older-ish people shooting clays. Yeah.
Well, you're just a young fella. So how do you keep fit then? If you're busy driving a truck all the time, then you've got to be fit for pistol. You're going to represent New Zealand coming up. What's your regime like?
I have to train in the gym all the time, and a friend of mine, personal trainer, he make a special program for me to make me run faster. So yeah, hopefully it'll work well.
Did it work today, Lee? Were you running fast out there?
It's a bit muddy, so yeah, everyone's will be the same. So yeah, I'm getting there.
Well done, Lee. Good luck for representing New Zealand in August in France.
Well, thank you very much.
Go the Kiwis! Now, Rob, I heard you complaining about Mike a bit out there, and the other competitors were saying, "Oh, that Mike has shown up a bit today." Now, who's Mike?
Oh, Mike, he's a real party pooper, Mikey. I don't know who invites him along, but he's just not welcome at all. He turns up, he just causes chaos everywhere he goes. We just can't stand the guy. Really, he's a shocker.
So let's tell everyone at home who Mike is, because he made a bit of an appearance in your last round there with the pistol.
Oh yeah, Mike did turn up. Mike is a miss on a target, so we called Alpha, Charlie, Delta is for the scoring, and if someone calls out Mike, it means it's a miss. So you don't want to hear that name Mike. So yeah, that's where it's all come from.
So I guess no one here has named their kids Mike.
There are a few guys, Mike, that walk around with a long face, but yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's how we just call it, that's all.
And there's a lot of ribbing that goes on behind the scenes. Someone had a particularly bad round before and everything sort of went pear-shaped. And even though that can happen to everybody, everyone sort of sees the humour in it and pretty much can't wait to give you a bit of cheek.
Yeah, well, it never happens to me because I never Chernobyl, but quite a few other people do. Yeah, when you have a bad run, it's like when that buzzer goes, it's like delete all relevant information. Everything goes out the door. So you have all these stage plans that you're going to do the shoot, but it never seems to come off the way you really want it. So it's a lot of fun though.
Well, I'm quite fond of you, Rob, so I sincerely hope for you Mike does not show up in the next range.
Hey, thanks very much, Karen. Thanks very much.
We sadly leave Rob now and head over to range 22. And our overall winners for the modified saw Philip Woodcock taking out the gold, James Meredith in silver and Lindsay Nicol in bronze. Now I'm here with the winners for the modified division. Phil, you took out top honours. How tough was it out there against this competition?
Yeah, these boys shoot bloody real well. Been just out there, shot consistently I did. So yeah, they pushed me along pretty hard.
So it came down to the wire, James?
It pretty much did, yeah. It came down to the pistol at the end of the day, yeah.
And Lindsay, what meant these guys got slightly ahead of you today?
Well, my consistency didn't play off today. They've zeroed one stage, but managed to claw back to third, so I'll take that.
Well done, guys. We'll see you all next year. Awesome. And the standard overall results saw Philip Dunlop taking away gold, Brent Millard in silver and Mike Orr bronze. So now we're here with the overall national champions of the standard division. Phil, that's quite a bit of gold around your neck. You're a bit of an overachiever this weekend.
Yeah, for a change. It's a nice result. I'm pretty happy about it.
And how many times have you won this Nationals?
In all honesty, I'm not certain, but maybe 7 or 8.
When you lose count, you know you've won it a lot. Now, what about you, Brent? You took out silver today. How did that feel?
It's pretty good. I'm still chasing the man. We've been chasing him for a few years now, and he's always just so much in front of everyone else. But it's been a good weekend.
And some pretty tough competition, Mike. You must be wrapped with bronze as well.
Oh yeah, no, it's anything's good, in the Nationals. It's first place for me in the 3-gun Nationals actually. So brilliant.
That is absolutely fantastic. Surrounded by champions, I couldn't feel happier for you guys, and we'll look forward to seeing all 3 of you back next year too, won't we? Definitely. Someone's got to beat this man. And overall for the Open, no surprises here. Chris Robertson again took away gold. Rob King was delighted with silver, and Shannon Logan taking away bronze. Well, not only am I standing now with the three, let's say, major winners, we're going to call you, first, second, third in the Open, but I'd say three of the biggest characters I've had the pleasure of getting to know this weekend. Now, Chris, you won. Your name dominated this board. I felt like I knew you before I met you. How did you manage to pull off another win?
Just, that's the luck of the draw, as I said on the first day. There's three firearms to use. It's not over till the third day, and I came back on the third day. So that's the luck of the draw.
So, Rob, why did you let him beat you?
Yeah, it really irks me. I'm going to be angry the whole way home. I've been gunning him for about 5 years. I've always been near the top, but he's a master shooter, master grade, a powerful shooter. He's really fun to watch. I've learnt a lot off him. I'm going to knock him off a stool one day.
Now, Shannon, you had a mate out there today. His name was Mike.
Yeah, he just kept on coming back.
What does Mike mean?
A miss, unfortunately. Cost me dearly.
Okay, so then why did you let these two beat you today, Shannon?
In all honesty, there's about 60 years worth of experience standing right there, as opposed to 4. So I've got a bit of time. I'll get there one day.
Well, I'd say 60 versus 4 years, I think the future looks pretty bright for Shannon. So well done, guys. You've been an absolute pleasure this weekend. And look at that serious bling you're wearing. And my newfound family didn't disappoint. Right down to the wire, they left me hanging high and dry. That brings to a close the 2017 Pistol New Zealand 3-Gun Nationals in stunning Rotorua. We've had a fabulous 3 days, and don't forget, if you want to give shooting a go, head to Pistol NZ, check out the website, because I can vouch these are some of the friendliest, coolest sporting people that we've had the pleasure to hang around with. And in no time at all, if you want to join shooting, I'm sure these guys will make you feel like you've got an extended family too. So that's over and out for 2017. We've got some great winners here, and we look forward to seeing you guys all back next year. That was your cue. Good job.
What stage was that?
Let's practice the last line, ready? And
You need to have a timer
to
when it
seeing you
goes.
all next year. Yes, the power of edit, we're done.